Hello, people. I'm Njol, and yeah, let's do some art and rant in no particular order. So, I had this idea the other day. You see, or rather, not an idea. It's more like a concept. It's been tickling at my mind and made me question certain things in regards to power fantasy, mythology, and ancient beliefs around the world. Because, folklore and superstition is fun. So, this company called Inky, since this. Okay, let's say it this way. There are many ways to read comics from around the world online. Inky Pen has one such application. You can find it on Steam that allows you to pay for books and read them. You can also, mm, sample some, and it will eventually arrive at Steam. So this service has a lot of books available, and you have webtoons and all of the unlicensed translators and that just takes the shameless webtoons and rip them off. God dang it. So other than the typical isekai fantasy that is very popular with the Japanese and the Korean crowd, where you take a random, you take some random person and put them into a fantasy world. Anyways, let's see, illustration, Skuri, Nisse, Bust. Okay, so here is the thing, right? The genre I'm thinking of today is roughly explained as wuxia. Yeah, wuxia. And it is essentially ancient Chinese power fantasy and fireworks and kung fu movies that made this very popular. Especially movies such as a Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's a Chinese literary genre with decades, I know, with centuries of traditions, and the spin-off, it become martial art movies. So it's a very popular in Chinese quarters. But there's one thing that has always made me wonder, though. I never really quite understood you call it, the power system, the currency system, and the money involved. So let's say, for example, currency. Well, it's a lot of has to do with spiritual stones. But uh, did people back in China in the day know how to count to 6 million spiritual stones? I mean, that seems like a pain in the ass to do an abacus. So yeah, let's see what Wikipedia has to say about it. The most least trustworthy of forces. Compound composed of elements Wu, military armed. Um, yeah, yeah, is a hero. So you can say armed, wandering, militant hero. So in other words, it's a hero fantasy where a powerful warrior it levels up and becomes stronger and has to deal with other powerful warriors, sects and schools, cults and demons and love triangles and whatnot. Mm. It's the equivalent of, the lone samurai or the lone samurai or is the lone samurai or the traveling knight or a bit or Conan. The wandering hero archetype exists around the world. And for a good reason. A band of heroes or a single person doing great deeds and wonders is a lot easier to emphasize with and remember. I mean, Norway doesn't really have that much in the way of power fantasies other than, Vikings. But their fantasies often end with a mighty warrior, usually dying. But we do have these stories of Askeladden, a clever farm boy, often the youngest and smartest of a bunch of a family that goes out into the world to get the princess and half the kingdom. Usually by outsmarting a troll or a witch or a hag or any such thing. As you know, nothing screams smart, and having a semi-sentient being cuts his own belly open to make room for more porridge. Yes, having a big troll kill itself is the pinnacle of a Nordic being petty in Norden. But yeah, the typical, anyways, the typical Chinese ones, they are more like a vigilante warrior, a hero of sorts. And more than 2,000 years back to the Wuxia tales from 300 to 200 BC. Anfei spoke despairingly of Wuxia's book Han Feisu. Feisi. 5 maggots. Yeah. But anyways, my point, the reason I find it interesting, because I like world building and I like his power systems and I like magic and mythology, like I mentioned earlier, so that's redundant. Mind is his free flow. Yeah. So the drawing I'm making it, I'm it's gonna be a bit unfocused. But so yeah, these days it's very popular with Wuxia. Wuxia? Is that Wuxia? Yeah? Wuxia? Wuxia? Yeah. So it seems that the 8 common attributes of the Xia: benevolence, justice, individualism, loyalty, courage, truthfulness, disregard for wealth, and desire for glory. It is quite similar to Confucian values. You know, Ren, Prong, Ong, Yi, and such. Hmm. But that's where the thing it comes a bit more interesting, because know that a lot of people play video games. I know I certainly do, and power levels and skill systems are very confusing to me in this regard, as they love to have them in these different settings. They love their RPG style abilities, but they are very poorly defined. What I mean with that is, oh, this skill takes this many points, and this spell does this, and I am reached this realm. Then this is my Dao, and this is my power level. But my power level is stronger. You can't possibly beat me. And then you beat him, and he's like, "How could I be beaten by a weakling?" That is also cheating and exploiting the system like a munchkin. And yeah, this is just me doing a bit of a dive into the insanity. Into the insanity that is yeah, the Chinese fantasy. So let's see where we can go from there, right? Anyway, see now where did I put the page I was reading? It was oh, I closed it. So in martial arts, you have qigong, no, nöili, neigong, dan shui. You know, acupuncture, martial arts, because China loves the martial art. And I can't say I blame them, because martial art is awesome. Even if it is not the best in regards to, practical application for fighting. But I'm not here. But that's not what I am looking into here. What I am thinking of is, oh yeah, this distraction. So, so the thing with these skills is that it requires a lot of training, questionable, questionable training methods, questionable ethics, and power level up to the roof. What a more practical example of this in action, you can, if you're insane, you can try and play Amazing Cultivator Simulator, or what's Sishin's review of that game. That essentially emulates the concept of the Wuxia power fantasy where you build a cult and use you and fight other people. No, because nothing is like a man. You're building a cult and getting followers, and then some asshole on a piece of driftwood flies in and start killing all of your members. That's also where a part of the fantasy aspect comes into play. The characters in these stories tends to use very esoteric methods of traveling. I usually travel on Chinese swords by standing on top of them. You have, for example, a whirlwind. You can make hidden world flying palaces. And Genshin Impact also has a lot of elements of this. You have the hidden the lead you was it and the world hidden inside the teapot. But yeah, where am I going with this? Well, I've just been trying to look into how this sister system is supposed to work. Because I've been reading too many comics lately, and on the first glance, it's based around eternal energy and martial arts. So, use martial art, meditation, and training to channel energy to make movements of great importance that will sunder mountains, shatter the sky, and break balls of long bearded masters. Or you poke you poke the meridians, and the person bursts into flame and blood and gore, followed by "Omae mo shinderu, ani okutu no ken." But yeah, it's essential. It can get as silly as anything. And yeah, it seems they also love to call out their attacks. Or somebody else somehow has the knowledge of, oh my god, is that the ability of the 100 Lotus Fists? Oh my god, I never thought I would see it. Only heard of it in legends. Yeah, the basic is basis on outside of nanomachines and reincarnation and just getting a game system lodged in your head is you train. You train a lot and you train half your life, and then you beat up people in the street and get in trouble with other masters, and you most of the time work for the sake of the people, while flying around on your sword along with your heavenly beast of burden. the spiritual, inner spiritual beast, while having energy flowing out your Wuxia, and people just dying from being near you because you exert so much pressure and death. So, but there's one thing, there's a couple of things I never really quite got with this system. Okay, so in the Western canon of, I should say, Western systems, demons and monsters are always bad. You don't want to make a deal with a demon. Yet yet it seems that in Wuxia fiction there is a shit ton of demon cultists. They're usually very dark, murderous, and brutal, but not more so than the poisoners or the assassins, who not doesn't necessarily use you know, demons. And you have the heavenly monsters, gods, and Wukong. And often a lot of sworn brothers and heroic sacrifice. Ah, yes, let's go through the TV show here to see how many of these can be applied. Yeah, there's a lot of powerful women, especially, for example, in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I remember very little of that movie, but yeah, it was a strong female girl boss in that one who beats up a crap ton of martial arts masters with everything from tablecloth to rakes attacking her while she was eating soup. And yes, alas, poor villain. Yeah, ambition is evil. Yeah. Then again, power is evil is generally seen as power at any. So when you seek out power, somebody has to pay the price, and it's generally not you. It's usually the people, the populace, the parents, and everyone else in between. Yeah. And of course, you have lots of supernatural creatures. Oh yes, that may go on a stampede. That might also have different realms they are powered in. Though these realms seems to be all over the place, and I'm still not sure what immortal realm or spiritual realm is, and what do they mean with immortality? When you think of immortality, you think of not dying from old age. Yet a lot of these so-called immortals seems to be ancient men about to keel over from old age. Tend to be depending on the artist, they are either very strong or very buff, and usually have silly long mustaches, even more long flowing hair, a strange hairdo, and robes, traditional Chinese robes. And of course, you have unarmed martial artists. The traveling monk that doesn't read scripture but punch you in the face. Ah, yes, battle couple. People get overextending the chi and starts puking blood. And the Bionic hero. He can barely control his vices. Oh yeah, that is so common. No wonder it's a trope. And yes, I mentioned name calling. The kick of a flying peacocks. Very, very ancient martial art technique. where you flaunt your feathers and like a peacock. Of course, you use your cast from hit point by using your own energy. Charles Atlas superpower. Yeah, you train, and of course, the male lead is also very attractive to girls. Sort of is not generally heroes overall though. They are chick magnets. Chop Socky. Clothing combat. Ah yes. The classic of having something up your sleeve. That is also very important. Or using cloth to kill people with. Because that also happens. Yeah, I'm just recording and ranting about Wuxia, a genre of fiction I've been a bit hung up on lately and trying to figure out some of the tropes and the power system. So, conflicting loyalty. Oh, yes. Cool old guy or lady. All the seafood. Oh, yeah. Very important. No worries. Dangerous forbidden techniques. mm. Oh, yes, that's very important. Hmm. And of course, the deceptive disciple. And yeah, of course, we need someone who betrays you. Of course, you have the terrible dark martial arts, envy, energy balls. Oh, yes. Collect energy and throw it into someone's face. Hmm. I remember I had this discussion with this dude once about the concept of gathering energy into a ball and throwing it. Throwing a fireball. Oh, that would be potentially possible. You obviously haven't seen enough Wuxia fiction to seen enough fiction of that sort to hmm, really be able to picture it. Ah, yes, of course, Enochs are evil. Those ridiculous bastards. They're always up to no good. I think that perception is a bit colored by the Yellow Scarf rebellion in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, where the Eunuchs plotted to overthrow the government and cause a rebellion. As they succeeded for a while at least. But in the end, it was Cao Cao that won the war, or at least his family. So. Of course, everyone knows Kung Fu fighting. Yeah, Kung Fu hustle, anyone? Ah, yes, the evil vizier or chancellor. There's always needs to be a evil, cruel, or incompetent a canceling person giving advice to the king or the cult master or the sect master or what the hell. Oh yes, he uses sect master, the emperor. I keep forgetting that they have weird names for these things. No, rather different countries have different titles. Ah yes, friend turned evil. And is being able to fly or jump really high and glide Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing I remember. Recall from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. They were fighting on top of pine trees and somehow managed to succeed. OJ shipping. Expect heroes and villains to be obsessed with defeating each other to the point they become a raison d'etre of their life. Yeah. The only reason I get up in the morning is to beat the shit out of you. My eternal rival with the power of youth. Yeah, but that seems to be very common in Asian fantasy in the first place. Though, but you know it's a power fantasy because there's only so many in. Because the greatest disadvantage with age is that you keep building up more and more injuries, making it harder. Oh, yeah, I god am I. Because, somebody's either think they're godlike or they're turning to God. Or, the character is actually godlike. I just don't know it yet. And of course, you have happily married. But hey, having a wife is usually means the wife gets killed. So the protagonist has a reason to seek revenge. It's a bit of how detectives seemingly always come across corpses. I mean, it's not half the concept of Detective Conan. No matter where he travels in the world, somebody has to die. Hmm. Ah, yes. Heroic sacrifice and heir to the dojo. Honor is more important than sense and reason. Swords can cut things they shouldn't be able to. And the hair is always long, so it's very. It becomes very. It becomes very symbolic. Something his hair is cut. Because, I mean, if you have hair down to your ass, you're kind of. It's kind of impressive, you know. Ah, yeah. And of course, you have the impossibly cool weapons. I mean, you can fight with a frigging rake. China has somehow have a martial art rake as a pole arm. It doesn't make much sense in terms of weaponry, but or a garden tool, but yeah, it's a thing that exists. Ah, yes. In a single bound, you can jump really, really far. Now we're getting instant expert. Oh, yes. And of course, you have silly places to have duels. Yeah, nothing screams over fantasy than fighting on top of a burning rope bridge over a gorge, over a gorge leading to sharp spikes and manipulating your ki or your chi, whatever you want to call it. A beggar's sect. Oh yeah, knight errant. Every hero indeed. And yes, you can break the sound wall with your punches and the kung fu. Very important. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Oh yes, kung fu is practically magic. Lady whore, yes. It's hard to be the best of everything because you get lonely on the top. This is no one equal. Manly tears. Ah yes, pacifist. Martial apprentice chain. It's not just Star Wars and the rule of two. Can only be one, no more, no less. Only be two, no more, no less. Master and a student. I can at least give ancient Chinese clothes one thing though. I don't have high heels for action heroes at least. Hack ninja. Also swordsman. Oh, not so stealthy. Mentor occupational hazard. Oh yes, mentors tend to die. Noble demon, and it mostly takes place in Imperial China. And you have a lot of old men that has somehow beard Cassandra Mountains and has survived in a field where young man dies very often. So in general, if the character has long white beard and is old, I have been around for a very long time. You want to be very careful. One man army, oh yeah, patriotism, pressure points. Yes. Poke people in certain places, and it has happens. Sword and sorcery, yes. World of badass, worthy opponent. Yeah, there's a lot of examples of that, but let's see. Cultivation power levels. Hmm. Let's see here. Oh yes, here's what I mean with why it's a pure power fantasy. You have the stage beyond mortal. Yeah, you expect to live to roughly, 100 to 120 years. But the second stage, you can live for 200 years or more. Third is 300. Oh yeah, 200 is 8 dragon Dantians. Third stage, 300. Fourth stage, 9 immortal bodies, 600 years. Spirit sovereign, oh yes, 1,000 years. And then you have 10,000 and 100,000 years. And 1,000,000 years. The ninth stage, X 000 years. Yeah. But that's one example of it. Or that's just one example. But there's a lot of different power levels in regards to that. I just find it fascinating, and I felt like rambling a bit and wondering What is all of these power levels, really? But essentially, it's a Taoist concept by which humans can extend their lifespan and gain supernatural powers, practicing a set of martial and mystical arts involving meditation and the cultivation of chi. So yeah, essentially, you're farming and building energy in your body, then you release it. Anyways, my name is Joel, and like, follow and subscribe to me on social media, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I just felt like ranting.